Hello and welcome to Clipping In. It's Tuesday, the 7th of October, and the autumn-winter semester is underway. Yes, the autumn syllabus is underway, and for that reason I'm heading out today rather than the high Pennines. I'm heading out into that wonderful area between Huddersfield, Wakefield, Barnsley and Sheffield. Sorry, triangle fans, it's a quadrilateral today. I wonder if there are any people who are fans of triangles. What's your favourite geometrical shape? I'll stop laughing soon because this hill is quite a beast, taking us up to High Hoyland. Half a mile to High Hoyland. This hill doesn't really give up till you get to the old church, the one that became an art gallery and now it's an Airbnb. Just passing the old church now. Churchyard is still intact. It's quite mild today. I mean, yesterday afternoon it was freakish, 18C. Today, I think it was about 10 or 11 when I set off at 9:30ish. And the forecast says it could reach 15 or 16 by early afternoon, so yeah, the Timex Ironman can be forgiven for thinking it's the 10th of July today. A cherry tree in High Hoyland. We've got a notice of a closed road ahead, but we're going left. No problem. Beautiful view from here. Once we get round this corner, it all opens up. This one winds its way around the back of Cannon Hall en route to Silkstone. Silkstone village now. Just through here, across the main Denbydale Road, and then a long steady climb up to Silkstone Common. I like this area because there are lots of steady climbs to get your teeth into. It keeps it interesting, but overall, in terms of altitude, height above sea level, it's quite low lying. I'm guessing, but I think Silkstone Common isn't much more than about 500 or 600 feet above sea level. Similar height to where I live. And so generally at winter, if it's frost free where I live, it can be quite rideable and reasonably safe for riding around here. Whereas the high Pennines, you're always looking at least 4 degrees colder than where I live. And it gets unpredictable. Little seepage lines on the descents that you go splashing through in August and September, when, say, it's 4 or 5 C in the centre of Huddersfield. It'd be freezing up there, and those little water lines are icy, which is not that much fun. So yeah, I tend to, this is where I fly south for the winter. Thurgo Land, I made my right turn at the lights. And we just steadily drop now to get into the basin of the Infant Don. Right, little chain ring, settle back. It's a good one, this one. You'll see when I put a map in set how long this whaleback is. Varying gradients. This is one of the steeper sections, but then it eases off. Just easing off here. I'd have to measure it, but I think that first section, it might be 3/4 of a mile, fairly sustained. I mean, I'm only going steady, but you know, you can tell the difference between the hill and the drag. I'm on a different bike, so this one's 11 speed. I've got 1134, but I think I was on either a 3424 or a 3427. I'm not sure. Something like that. But remember, that's at what I think of as talking and filming pace. Passing through Greenmoor Hamlet. Can we call it a hamlet? Yeah, I like that. Still climbing, but the gradient's eased off a lot now. Just a little tricky little junction here and a steep part immediately afterwards. It's one of those, unless it's very busy, you can usually get through without taking your foot out. About maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile away on my left is the busy Langsett Road, Stocksbridge bypass. I'm happy to report that I survived the caffeine gel that I took in the last ride video. I don't know whether it had any positive effect on the final hour, but it's interesting. Caffeine, there are all kinds of claims for its ability to ease fatigue and sort of change your perceived effort. shouting you up real horror show. Going back maybe 20 years, it was on the banned list. So you had to be very careful around caffeine. That's why back then the big nutrition companies, they weren't offering caffeine gels and caffeine enhanced energy bars. But then at some point, I'm not sure when, it was taken off the list and it became open season for all this caffeine and taurine stuff. What's the fancy word for it? Is it nootropic? You can't move now for caffeine enhanced gels. Going back to the 90s and my the final push on my PhD, most of us had to do a daytime job, and then you'd be finishing off the thesis work at night and weekends. And very often those night shifts, you might work from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. It was all fueled by copious amounts of black coffee. Potent stuff when you're drinking it by the pint. A friend of mine who was in the same boat, he looked really ill on it. He went yellow, permanently sweating, all the caffeine. He might have been popping Pro Plus tablets as well, but yeah, you think it's not that good for you. I'm sure that from a cycling point of view, 60 milligrams here and there in your final hour, it's a little bit like what the professionals have done for years with their finishing bottles at the end of a long spring classic, and they take a bottle of concentrated carbohydrate sugar syrup stuff with caffeine and other stimulants to give them a nudge. Now we've got a wagon. Marvellous. He must be doing a lot of braking. Tractor. Okay. Come on. I thought, with that speed, he must be a nervous driver. I think, unfortunately, he's going to spoil our view of the Peak District. We'll have a little stop to let that truck get away, and it gives us an opportunity to look at today's steed. It's the Dolan Titanium ADX, full length fitted guards. It's now sporting Continental Grand Prix 4 season tyres. I've changed from GP 5000s. Daytime lights. And oh yes, an original flight titanium saddle from the 2000s. Super. So we now have a nice unbroken view towards the Peak District, Holm Moss and the Woodhead Pass. Centre frame, you can see a ribbon crossing the moor. That's all the traffic on the Woodhead. Darkening over a little. There's no rain on the forecast, but you know, in hill country, it makes its own rules up. I didn't want to spend too long on the equipment side of things, looking at the bike, but if there is any interest, let me know in the comments and I'll do a standalone video on this winter bike versus training bike versus summer bike, this three-way wrestling match. I don't like to bog down ride videos with too much gear. Transpennine Trail above. Now reopened. Left turn, Royd Lane, taking us up into windmill country. It's also a little chainring country. Steep part. Nearly out of the way. And there we have it. Power station. Yeah. And a different kind of power station on the left. What a magnificent structure. Now, I'm no expert, but by my eye, I think that might be taller than the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. So there we have it, the first entry and the autumn-winter syllabus. Freshers week, if you like. And it's been a good ride as that. Into the rhombus. Great riding. The rain's held off. Wind's picked up a little. We're not going to complain about that. Superb outing. That's all for this edition of Clipping In. See you very soon. Back out on the Yorkshire roads. Bye bye.